Angle. Does Joe Biden face a moral dilemma in the Israel-Gaza armed conflict?
As I address this hall as president for the final time, let me recount the progress that we've made these last 8 years. We've acted to protect the vulnerable. We've supported human rights and welcomed scrutiny of our own actions. We've bound our power to international laws and institutions. When we've made mistakes, we've tried to acknowledge them. We have worked to roll back poverty and hunger and disease beyond our borders, not just within our borders. I'm proud of that.
Yes, Obama's final address to the United Nations General Assembly is quite correct. The United States once stood as a global powerhouse, a beacon of justice, peace, prosperity, and the unwavering defender of human rights. The world looked to the U.S. for leadership, guidance, and moral clarity. The United States still holds a significant global influence in many ways. However, its esteemed image is gradually declining. One contributing factor to this decline is the United States' role in the ongoing armed conflict in Gaza. The Israel-Gaza conflict has become a litmus test for the U.S.'s moral standing in global leadership. Its unwavering support for Israel, even in the face of controversy, raises critical questions. What values does the U.S. truly stand for? How does it balance its commitment to the protection of human rights with geopolitical alliances? On October 7th, a heinous attack by Hamas shook the region. Within hours, the U.S. expressed its rock-solid support for Israel.
Today, the people of Israel are under attack, orchestrated by a terrorist organization, Hamas. In this moment of tragedy, I want to say to them and to the world and to terrorists everywhere that the United States stands with Israel. We will not ever fail to have their back. And my administration's support for Israel's security is rock solid and unwavering.
Diplomatic cover followed in the form of power play within the hallowed halls of the United Nations Security Council. But at what cost? As the conflict rages on, the U.S. grapples with its role as both mediator and ally. Caught in the crossfire, it faces moral dilemmas that reverberate far beyond the Gaza Strip. Behind the headlines and political power play lie the human stories. The lives lost, the families displaced, and the children scarred by violence. The current numbers are staggering, with no end in sight. Over 33,000 people killed in Gaza, including more than 13,000 children and 8,400 women. 360,000 residential homes destroyed. 340 health workers killed. 396 educational facilities destroyed. 122 journalists and media workers killed. More than 196 humanitarians and other aid workers killed. The majority of aid workers killed are United Nations staff, including the recent bombing of 7 World Central Kitchen volunteers. What is the point? As the U.S. grapples with its stance, it confronts the haunting question: can it uphold its values while safeguarding its interests? The implications of the U.S.'s actions extend beyond the borders of Israel, Gaza, and in fact, the Middle East. These actions have the power to reshape the global landscape of peace and security. But what happens when countries commit war crimes with impunity, shielded by the backing of powerful allies? It sets a dangerous precedent, one that undermines the very fabric of international law and order, posing a serious threat to global stability. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Stand with anyone that is right. Stand with him while he is right. And part with him when he goes wrong." These powerful words resonate today. The United States stands at a crossroads, a moment to reclaim its global leadership. The U.S. can wield its influence to halt the destruction and human suffering in Gaza. It must summon courage and demand an immediate ceasefire. The U.S. is capable to walk and chew gum at the same time. It can support Israel's rights to self-defense and advocate for the dismantling of Hamas, all while upholding its core values. In fact, the U.S. can withhold military and financial support if Israel fails to heed the call for a ceasefire. This is not just about Gaza, It's about the soul of global governance. The United States has the opportunity to stand up for justice, peace, and human rights everywhere. Yes, everywhere, including Gaza. It can reaffirm the values that define its legacy, recognizing that American strength derives not only from its military power but also from the depth of its values. As President Obama noted in his final United Nations address, the U.S. must act now to protect the vulnerable, safeguard human rights, uphold international law and institutions, and utilize its power to address the hunger, diseases, and humanitarian catastrophe currently unfolding in the Gaza Strip. Thank you for watching. Join us in our next episode as we go beyond the headlines.